Shalom, shalom, shalom. Family, first let me say all praises to the Most High of Israel in the name of Hamashiach Yahushai. Now, a few weeks ago, I was reading Mark 7, What Defiles a Man. And there is a difference between the KJV and the NIV versions of the Bible. So I'll read the NIV in Mark chapter 7, verse 15. Actually, I'll start reading from verse 14. Again, Jesus called the crowd to him and said, "Listen to me, everyone, and understand this. Nothing outside a person can defile them by going into them. Rather, it is what comes out of a person that defiles them." After he had left the crowd and entered the house, his disciples asked him about this parable. "Are you so dull?" he asked. "Don't you see that nothing that enters a person from the outside can defile them? For it doesn't go into their heart, but into their stomach, and then out of the body." In saying this, Jesus declared all foods clean. Now, the part that's in parentheses says, "In saying this, Jesus declared all foods clean." Now, it's in parentheses is because it's someone's perspective or opinion. The New Life Version and the English Standard Version Bibles says the same thing about all meat or all food being clean. Now I'll read the KJV. The same chapter, Mark 7, and I'll read verses 18 to 19. Okay, Mark 7, 18. And he saith unto them, "Are ye so without understanding also? Do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him? Because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the draught, purging all meats." Now that word draught, it actually it's an old English word meaning, actually the word is draft, but it looks like draught. Now the word purge is in the KJV, but not in the other versions. So let's take a look at the word purge. The synonyms for purge is cleanse, purify, clear, remove, get rid of, and expel. One other definition is empty one's stomach. Maybe the translators made a mistake and got confused by the word purge, or maybe they knew exactly what they were doing. There are places in the Bible that use the word purge to mean cleanse, but you have to look at the context. For instance, Hebrews chapter 10, verses 1 to 4. Let me get that. So Hebrews chapter 10, and I'm going to read verse 1 to 4. "For the law having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect. For then would they not have ceased to be offered, because that the worshippers once purged should have had no more conscience of sin. But in those sacrifices there is a remembrance again made for sins every year. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and goats should take away sins." In verse 2, the word purged means cleansed, or the idea of sins being cleansed by animal sacrifices. Context is very important. Either way, I'll stick to the KJV because it gets the context correct when Hamashiach spoke. Also, chapter 7 of the book of Mark spoke about hands that were uncleaned and not unclean meat. You can look at verse 2 and verse 5 as proof. One more thing. In verse 19 it says, because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the draught. The word draft, spelled Draught, looks like it's spelled draught. And it's an Old English word. It means latrine or sewer, where people would use the bathroom. It's You can see it in this picture. You can see the holes in the stone where people would empty their bowels. All right, family. Thank you for watching and listening to this video. I want to say much love to the CUC, all the family. Shalom.